All right, guys. Hello here. My name is Bam, and welcome to the Pre-GeneSix talk show. And I am joined by a lovely set of gentlemen. Of course, I got here my man Viren. How you doing, brother?
I am doing absolutely swell. It has been a long journey here, but it has been a absolutely fun one. I'm very excited for everything that's about to happen this weekend.
Absolutely, same here. Of course, I have D1 Mingret.
Thank you, man, for saying my full government. I'm excited to be here, guys. My flight was super short to get here as well, as I live in Southern California where he used to live. In any event,
oh my gosh. All right.
On to the next one.
Yep. And of course, my man, dude, NorCal native, G-Pick.
This is my favorite time of year. It's the second Christmas. Everybody comes to me. I don't actually have to get on a plane to see everybody, and I love it.
Yeah, I know. It's actually nice because the first time I'm being up here, I'm like, yo, everyone's here. Like, I just get to chill, sit back, and then be all right.
Yeah, you know? I get to watch people's flights get delayed, and I get to laugh. Like, yeah, that's usually me.
Yeah, your flights were fine, you said, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
My flights are always fine. It's actually kind of amazing that I never have delayed flights overseas.
You're the only one. You're always smooth sailing. I always forget people have problems. Everyone else. Oh, Armada always gets it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the equilibrium. Like Armada just gets terrible flights, and then you always have good ones. Yeah. That's just how it is. That's how it is.
It's quite sad, but
the better the player you become, the worse your flights get.
Yes.
That's how it works.
Is that how it is?
I think you're pretty good, bro.
You're pretty good.
Try to undersell yourself
all right. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. So of course we are here because Genesis, super major for Smash, and we just had a few days ago, right? We had the 20th anniversary of Smash Brothers. So it is a amazing time. Ultimate having like record-breaking numbers. It's like super sick, and I mean it's awesome. Like to see this game and this series just kind of pull through in the way it does. Of course, having these amazing IPs and having basically a lot of people's childhood heroes like all wrapped into one, right? All battling it out. It's like, what's not to love about Smash?
I'm really excited just to see the fact that we're on track to potentially beating the sales that Brawl had, Like, Brawl had some sick sales, but the fact that we're not even a full year after the release of this game, and we're already at 12 million plus, like, things are looking really good for this game, man. Yeah. And the viewership, like, people are just really excited to even just tune in and learn from the best of the bests out there. So I'm really excited to see what's going to happen, just with the fact that we have so much content and an actual patch that came that wasn't so bad after all.
Wasn't so bad after all.
With actual patch notes.
I know.
Yeah, even thank you, Nintendo, for supplying us with the actual patch notes, good amount of detail and everything. And just... it wasn't in a language that...
Yeah, the lingo could be...
That's what I was about to say. They need to learn our jargon a little bit.
Yeah, they need to, come back to us a little bit so we can assist you with the jargon, but...
I think by this point, since a lot of people have been able to decipher that language, I think going forward, even if they kept it, as long as it remained consistent, we'd all get what was happening.
Honestly, I have to say, though, I was so blessed when Viren put out that tweet letting people know when they changed hit stun, what they meant to say was hit lag, and I immediately held my chest and said, Palutena, it's still hit.
I was telling this guy, man. He's like, no, they got Palutena. I'm like, no, bro. Like, I'm telling you, they think hit stun is hit lag. Like, they're just thinking of stun. They didn't know. But it's, she's sitting good. Sonic, I'm so glad they did that for Sonic. Yeah. Because that is hilarious. His fair looks even crazier, so I'm actually super hyped about that.
And it helps us so we're not as tilted being hitting by these moves. Because against Palutena, you get hit by the first, and it's like, now I have to wait like 20 more seconds for the next 4.
You got to think about what you did. Like, go to your room. Think about what your tax messed up.
Follow your nails.
Yes. Man, how did I get hit there?
Just spinning that staff around, and it's just...
it's just, she just keeps on spinning.
True. Sometimes I even feel bad when I hit people with the neutral air because I'm like, well, time to hear that sigh from the opponent. But now it's way faster, and I think that's better, right? We see like final smashes, even on the casual side of things, even though we're not touching much on that here this weekend. It does look cool to see that. Overall, he's just trying to speed up the flow of things with the game, right? Yeah. So you get hit, you just rock it off. Yeah. It's to the point where if you look at Smash 4 footage, I know Nairo had a stream for Smash 4, you see someone just drift off, and it looks so weird. Even sometimes, when I look at Melee too, I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to play Ultimate again, man.
Yeah, right? It's so funny. Like, we were so upset about it, and now it just feels like this makes sense.
Yeah.
It feels like it makes sense, right? But it's just so funny how those things happen, right, in retrospect. But anyways, let's skip all this. Let's go into international talent, man. All right. So obviously, one of the greatest things about Genesis in general is, of course, we have all the storylines. But one of the cool things is always you get to see a lot of intersect between all the international talent, and that's something that we always love. We always love when, Penguins come out to play, dude. Have a good time.
I can't believe it.
Right? But of course, having the European players, the Japanese players, LATAM, of course, more people coming from other places in North America besides the U.S., and it's sick. It's always a beautiful thing to see, just to see all the talent come together and all these play styles and kind of figure out what works from different play style and where the meta goes. You always see a big meta shift when these kind of majors occur.
Yeah.
So it's super awesome. So let's go into it. So let's talk about the players to watch, man. In general, there is a lot of talent. Like, tell me, guys, who are the people you guys are looking out for?
I'll say, for one, I'm not even from Europe, but I'm actually the most excited to see Gluttony's run at this tournament. I went over to France. They flew me out for Ultimate Wanted 1, and I've heard so many good things about this Wario main. And when I finally had the opportunity to land in France, attend the event, and see for myself how good of a player that he was, immediately I was thoroughly convinced that this guy needs to go to Genesis. So I was super, super excited to see that all the stars aligned and people were actually able to help with getting Gluttony out to the States, because we've heard about how amazing his Wario is ever since Brawl, right?
Since Brawl.
And, we've always heard different reasons as to why we could never get to see him. But you know what? Going into Ultimate, especially after the fact that Wario wasn't even as stellar in the previous title, now that Wario actually has some really good changes to his end lag to his moves, and just a lot of solid changes that allow him to actually be a monster when it comes to KOing and even comboing really well, right? I'm really scared because that Nair, the range buff, the up tilt, the fact that there's less end lag. You've seen the combos from even a player like Tweak.
He's crazy. I honestly see him as heavy jigs. That's how I see him. He's he's a heavy jigs.
And Leffen kind of alluded to that with his tweet where he talked about how people play. He doesn't want to see people win with a rest character, but to refocus again, Gluttony. I'm really really excited. I feel like it would be amazing. Actually, not surprising to see him in the top 8. I think he's capable of doing it. The guy is really clutch as well. And if you think about it with Wario, 1:50 to 2 minutes pass, and all of a sudden you have a tool that can either allow you to overlap your opponent, right, to keep that lead, to have a firm grasp on it, or allow you to mount a comeback so that now the playing field is more even. So it's going to be really interesting seeing what's going to happen this weekend.
No, absolutely.
That's where the benefit also of switching from a 2-stock meta to a 3-stock one is you have more time on the clock as the Wario main, more opportunities to get that swing factor back in your favor, and then you still have an 8-minute timer on top of that. If you need to, you can dial it back and find your WAFs.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, in general, what we've seen from Gluttony overall is he's just always been someone who can adapt. We've seen time and time again, we've seen him go with these reverse 3-0s throughout tournaments. And so I'm really excited to see what he's going to be really capable of doing here at Genesis. But Viren, my man, tell me about the kind of other two players that we're looking at.
So, of course, the other two big European players are, of course, the Swedish duo Leffen and Armada. Leffen been very vocal about a lot of things. He's been bouncing back and forth between a bunch of characters as well. Of course, at first we saw him with the Pokemon trainer, but then he felt like his character's going to develop a little bit too slowly, so I want to fall back on someone else who's potentially strong now. Somebody like, I think he's trying out the Wolf. Wolf and Cloud, I believe, are the characters that he's considering now at the moment. So it'll be really interesting to see how Leffen goes. Of course, Leffen, he's been really on the grind with this game every day, streaming for 12 plus hours every single day. He's been training with a bunch of other high-level European players all the time. So Leffen is definitely somebody that's taking this game very, very seriously, and he's just so it feels like he's very ready going into Genesis.
And to add on to what Viram said too, I had a conversation with Leffen yesterday. He said don't even put it past him trying to pick up Peach, knowing that this is a character that can use moves really low to the ground and still bypass that multiplier that everybody else has to deal with, 0.85.
Yeah.
So because of that, that's actually a really big point of contention for him. He's not a big fan of that for the character, but realizes it survived patch 2.0, 2.0.0. I wish they didn't put all that in there. It's a lot to say. But yeah, seeing the fact that Peach is definitely a character where if you invest the time in her or Daisy, you get a lot in return. You have great approach tools, you have amazing damage output, and even like coupled with the hover, it's either you have like approaches that are hard to deal with or amazing edge guarding abilities from deep off stage.
Absolutely.
I've seen some ridiculous extensions with the likes of Samsora using Peach. So of course,
Samsora,
it would be
Raza,
ridiculous if you could pick up that character.
And we know he has the execution for it based on Dragon Ball Fighters and Melee as well. So I'm a believer in it.
Yeah, I mean, I know that ever since he found out, like, he was looking at Nair and he's like, wait, Nair's like -2, like, this is crazy. Like, he's been really, like you said, he's been very, very vocal about the character being really strong. But all in all, I think that his Pokemon trainer is absolutely incredible. I think that a lot of things that I see him kind of losing to are a lot of things that I feel are just like nuanced from like Smash 4, so to speak. Of course, when we look at Ultimate, it's a place where you have some melee aspects, you have some brawl aspects, you have some Smash 4 aspects. Some people even argue some of the 64 aspects as well, and it's just that kind of that nexus of all those concepts. So I feel like it's just some of those things that if he was able to figure out, I could see him doing amazing with Pokemon Trainer. And I think he knows that too. Like Vernon was saying before, it's really like he feels like, what do I need right now to stay in the game? So he can learn the game amongst high-level players, and then in time maybe kind of transfer those skills over to Pokemon Trainer. So,
yeah, I mean, looking at Pokemon Trainer, I believe like he was mentioning how he feels like the character, as time progresses, can potentially become a side character, right? But we'll see what happens. Even Inkling, he also mentioned that would be a character that he wouldn't be opposed to picking up, which Armada has been training with Cosmos at the Loft, and I was really impressed by that. I was like, wow, things have changed a lot.
Yes.
Going into Ultimate.
Yes.
We have such amazing crossover with people. People kept asking me time and time again, do you think Melee players are actually going to get into the game? And I was like, nah, I don't think so, because I don't know, like, it seems really similar to Smash 4. I'm not even sure if they took the game as seriously. Maybe Plup, maybe King, maybe Armada, but I'm not sure if the rest of the guys are really going to stick around. I think maybe they just went because it's an opportunity to get, to go to E3 on Nintendo's dime. But I was wrong. Like, a lot of these guys are actually playing. You see Mango doing his thing as well. So it's really cool to see that happen. Of course, Plup is another player to look out for. We haven't really gotten many opportunities to really see him play offline, right? It was a lot of like online scrims, and I feel bad for him because, of course, 2.0, right after Genesis, he's gonna have to shop around and find a new character.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a tough thing to see, but
Yeah.
Other than that, let's pivot over to like the people that we've known from Smash 4 that are like really strong going into this event. You guys did have the graphic up before that mentioned MKLeo, a player who we already know is like super duper strong at a young age, coming into Brawl even, right?
Yeah.
Then into Smash 4, and then dominated in Smash 4. A lot of people didn't believe that he was actually, that amazing of a player. So more people kept coming to Mexico, and as they came to Mexico, they also left with an L. But now going into Ultimate, you see like there's a lot of cool rivalries that are persisting, right? You see like MKLeo and the Tweak rivalry. A person who a lot of people are thinking might be number one. Going back to MKLeo, when I was talking about a young prodigy who's like super strong, that also reminds me of a player by the name of Zach Ray, right?
Yes.
And Zach Ray has been so amazing going into this game. A player who actually had a really strong Corrin. He near the end of Smash 4, he could have potentially have been the best Japanese player.
Yeah,
but he got into the game pretty late. Very strong Corrin. He could have been as good as Cosmos, honestly. And he also had to be in a Marth secondary tertiaries. Regardless, though, he has yet to lose an event in Japan. It's like so crazy. Like he did drop a set before at one of the first big events that they had in Japan, to a Greninja. Oshitofu, I believe was the name. I think I might be messing it up. I might be right too. In any event, he brought it back and beat so many strong players like Asaka, Como. Like there's so many good players that were in that bracket, and yet he came out on top. 4-0 T from the loser's side with his amazing Wolf.
Yep.
You know, this guy's Wolf, you know, when a lot of people think Wolf, the first thing they think is psh, psh, with the blaster, but not quite. He actually has a really interesting style to watch as
he
well.
definitely plays a lot different than other Wolves that we've seen. A lot of people kind of sit back, especially with this game. A lot of stages we have at least like 2 platforms, right? And so you see a lot of people kind of like sit behind, they use that as cover and go ahead and kind of utilize that laser, right, and try to get people to kind of come into him. And that's really the playstyle that we've seen from mostly everybody. But Zachary is someone who's actually really gone out there, and he's really pushed his advantage. And with pressure, obviously, he's known for being amazing, hitting those F tilts when people are trying to recover. He's been getting those 2 frames really, really cleanly. He's incredible at that, and it's something that like a lot of people are now trying to incorporate into a gameplay. But yeah, let's go in general, of course, talking about Zachary, but let's just talk about Japan as a whole, right? Let's talk about, this is something that we always love to see, because a lot of times when people are looking at Smash, they look at 2 places. They look at the US, and then they look at Japan. That's a lot of times that's where people are looking at, right? And now it's very interesting because now it's becoming a little bit different now. I feel like there's all these different players coming out, but Japan is still looking amazing, and a lot of people still feel like Japan is in the running to be like the number 1 right now.
Yeah,
but we have a lot of players of them too. Like they're not really playing as much anymore, and some of them can't play because they assisted in the development of this game. So it's very interesting to see what's going to happen. Like as the new age, like a Japanese Smashers, are they going to continue that dominance, or like are they going to fall through? But we have a lot of players coming from them already. So what do you think overall, about the Japanese players and what they're going to be able to do?
Yeah, honestly, I think it's really, really interesting because the Japanese players, every time they've come here, they've always managed to make an impact throughout Smash 4. You know, every player listed down here, we've got Shuton, obviously incredible Olimar player. Olimar, an even stronger threat in this game, so one could expect Shuton to do incredibly well here. Umeki with Daisy, Shogun, Snake, I believe, old school Brawl player. Niatono, Abadango, Rain, obviously such strong threats throughout Smash 4. And what I also find interesting is that, as we talked about Zachary before, what other potential Japanese young bloods, new players introduced throughout this game are going to rise from the ashes, going to rise up and just kind of stake their claim as one of the top players throughout this game.
Right.
I feel like that's like a constant theme, it feels like, when it comes to Smash, like Smash in general, right? We've seen in Smash 4 Tweak, he was a young guy playing Bowser Jr., came out of nowhere and just started smacking people up. And once he started finding a character that was really strong in Cloud, we saw even crazier results, more consistent results by him, right? Along with him adding Donkey Kong and Bayonetta to his roster. And, you know, same thing goes with like MKLeo. But yeah, Japan, it's going to be really interesting seeing how good these guys are, because we don't really get many opportunities to actually see a lot of their gameplay. They do broadcast quite a bit, but they're you know, it's like different time zones, and there's just so much Smash footage to digest. It's really hard to keep up with a lot of it.
Absolutely.
But
another thing that also makes the Japanese scene scary is, like, we've always known in Smash 4, even the bottom tiers, the low tier character mains were always threats here. And now in this game, with how much even the playing field is compared to what it used to be, like Zaki came over here with DDD and beat Leo. Yeah. Like that was a thing that happened, and DDD was by no means good. Now, like, DDD and all these other characters look like they have legitimate tools in this game. So all of these character specialists that they've always had, they're all gonna rise up and be threats too. And no one knows how this is gonna shake out when they come over here. Yeah,
absolutely. It's gonna be crazy, man. Like, Japan is always known to have those die-hard character specialists, and they really push the meta with a lot of these characters. So I'm really excited to see what they're able to do. But just in general, let's like talk about regional playstyles. You know, Japan, always we've seen them kind of been like the really conservative in like their play, right? They usually, if it doesn't work, then I'm not gonna try it. Oh, it's an American reset, it's a mix-up. Nah, we don't do this, right? They love what works, they do it. What doesn't work, right? And they love to be really you look at the like perfect play style. That's usually what you see from them, right? But it's cool because I feel like right now people are still trying to figure out what is the optimal play style in this game. Obviously, it's the age of exploration, and so it's really cool to kind of see all these different regions, like kind of EU style, and even between EU, like looking at whether it be Germany, whether it be France, like all those different play styles there, and it's like it's really, really exciting to see. Like that's what I always love to see, how these little nuances and what we're going to take from that. What's like overall, like what region are you really excited to see in terms of their play style and why?
I mean, for me, I'm personally a very conservative player, so I am rooting for Japan, partly for that reason. A lot of players, when they first picked up this game, especially like more on the West Coast where we love being aggressive, we just like pressing a lot of buttons. And in this game, whiffing things is a little bit less committal than it used to be. So like a lot of players walked away with this impression of like, oh, this is a game where you just press buttons and things work out. And slowly we're learning that's not the case, but because like we started from that perspective, we still have like a lot of like unpolished aggression at our mid levels of play.
Right.
So I like the fact that like Japan already started out of the games like, no, eventually punishes will be found for these things, so let's not be too crazy yet, and let's try to figure out a proper mindful approach to the rest of the game.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I definitely love that too. I'm gonna be real though, dude. I love the press buttons, dude. I love the press buttons. And like I love that, and the reason, and just in general, that's why I'm always like really excited about like EU and like particularly like France and seeing Gluttony and like all these people, like they love the press buttons, dude. So Viram, tell me about like, 'cause I know it's not all EU.
No.
That's definitely not all EU. So talk to me about it.
It's very interesting because France and England are pretty much polar opposites in how they play. France, of course, throughout Smash 4 as well, they were very aggressive in their play style. The French players and the English players both noticed this. The English, we're very passive. We're very kind of conservative. We're very kind of minimalist. Outside of Ixis, who's a nut, but like a lot of our better players are a lot more kind of conservative. We're a lot more defensive in how we approach the game, and then various other European countries are kind of like very varied within that kind of mid-range between like UK and France in terms of defensive and aggressive play. So it's interesting to see the kind of spectrum of different players throughout all these different countries. And I know there's a handful of UK players here as well, so it'll be interesting to see how they do. Of course, I'm biased in that sense, but yeah.
Right. No, absolutely. I'm really excited to see what's going to happen. I feel that obviously we had the whole debacle with the seeding and all this stuff going on, but truth be told, I think that at least from, again, I have, like, it was my first time when I went to Valhalla to be out there in Europe, but it's like a scene that, like, I've always tried to watch all the different scenes, and I always felt like just a lot of their play styles all kind of would be wonderful in an engine like this. And so I'm actually really excited to see what's happening because, again, a lot of people, I feel like they sleep on EU way too much. Way too much. Like, and I don't know, it's funny to me because obviously you have two of the game's greats in Lef and Armada. They were able to spawn from there. It wasn't just like immaculate concept. They didn't just like there had to be something there. Maybe once they got to a certain level, yes, it was harder for them because these guys are playing at the top level, and there weren't other people like that. But you're looking at the high level, you're looking at mid-level, there's a lot of talented players who have potential to get to that space. And I think Ultimate is going to be a space for a lot of people to do so, And so I'm really excited about that. I really want to see that. But, of course, we have North America, U.S., always really, really dominant when it comes to Smash. Mexico, always very, very talented. A lot of times they can't really travel. They can't really get anywhere. Obviously, we have MK Leo. But, of course, we have people like Cloudy and stuff as well. So I want to ask you, D1, like, how do you feel about Mexico states? Even though they're not going to be as prevalent at Genesis 6, just kind of what we see from Ultimate. Do you see kind of more Mexican players kind of coming out of the woodworks and really kind of being dominant like MK Leo? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Like, honestly, going into Ultimate, I feel like I haven't really heard too many people actually shed light on the Mexican players from my perspective, right? I've only heard a lot of buzz about EU. I've heard a lot of buzz about Japan. And, of course, when it comes to Mexico, MK Leo is like who a lot of people talk about, who now resides in Florida with the rest of those guys at MVG. So Of course, that isn't to say that they don't have strong players for sure. But from my perspective, I was just like wait. It's like a wait and see for me.
Yeah, no, definitely see that.
The main player we see making waves right now is Meister, who's been chilling in the Chicago area. He won like 8 tournaments in a row and 9 tournaments in a row. He was finally stopped by Yeti. But other than that, just absolutely destroying people with Game & Watch, who a lot of folks assumed that he dropped so much because of a lot of the changes to his kit, especially the new forward air being so counterintuitive. Yeah,
no, absolutely. So that's really exciting. Cloudy, I'm really excited to see like what he's going to be able to do, and also Javi. He's been playing Link, and he feels he's been getting a bit more comfortable with the character. He's pretty excited, so I want to see what he's able to do. Overall, I've always felt that a lot of things it's lack of like there's just not as much viewership for the Mexican scene. A lot of things seem to be coming up on the horizon that's going to change that, but overall, I feel like it's overall. You don't really see much as far as you see outside MKLA. That's pretty much it. Smash Factor, that's all we really see, right? So, again, man, there's so many scenes that like have so many diamonds in the rough, if not just straight up talented, right? And I am excited because these events, this is where people make it happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like people can build their careers for a lifetime off this tournament. That's what's crazy about GeneSix. Like
another Mexican player actually is a very young one. He's like 13 years old, called Spargo, and he's the Cloud player. And I know he very recently won one of the Naifu Wars tournaments. It was like 800 entrants, and he won that very, very very So I know this is probably going to be like is this going to be the MK Leo V2 kind of thing? You know? But that's another player to watch out for. One country we haven't mentioned, though, is Canada.
Yes. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Canada, man. I mean, obviously, he was actually staying at my house earlier today. But Ally, obviously, he's always been someone that we look at as being one of the best players out there. Got his character back, man. My boy, freaking Solid Snake, somehow from the grave, got into this game, dude. I love Sakurai forever, dude. Like, for that is like one of the greatest things ever. Like, that's never happened in gaming history. But anyways, Ally now has like a character that he loves. He truly, truly loves. And I'm really excited to see what he's going to be able to do. But it's not just Ally. Again, a lot of times we really focus on there's this one person and we think, oh, they just happen to come out of nowhere. Then because of that, that's all there is to it. No, like it takes a village, man. It takes a village to make this. And so that means there are other talents out there waiting. So, I mean, overall, we have Captain L. Man.
Now on the Pichu train, I believe.
Yes, on the Pichu train. He's actually been the one who's found a lot of tech for Pichu overall. He is the creator of the lightning loops, as it were. And he's found a lot of tech for that character, and he is someone who is such an insane lab rat. He loves to just pick apart the game day in and day out, and especially when you're looking at early meta, those are the guys you want to watch out for. So I feel like he's going to be doing some incredible things. So I'm really excited. But Verum, is there any other Canadian players that you're really looking at and you're really excited to see?
I'm really interested to see how Locus does. You know, I know he's been repping Ridley this time round, so I'm not quite sure how he's been faring so far, but I know that Locus, obviously, he's proven himself to be a very strong player throughout Smash 4, so it'll be really interesting to see how he's able to fully translate into this game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I'm excited to see what he's going to do. I'm a little sad that he's not working with Ryu or Ken, but I know how he feels. There's a lot of those changes for those characters. Even though you look at them on paper, they feel like they're really, really good. I think right now it's such a paradigm shift. It's such a paradigm shift to play those characters. Just they're really, really nuanced right now. So I think it's going to take time before we see really people come to the forefront at that top level, right? But anyways, let's talk about character diversity. So that's another thing. Everyone is here, right? We all know the tagline. And we've seen a lot of characters have some play. Again, Age of Exploration, start of the game. Everyone's going to pick up everyone. They're going to try to figure out stuff. But obviously, in certain regions, tend to favor certain things more. I mean, I know in SoCal, Foxes and Pichus all day. Again, pushing buttons. That's what that's what they do out there, right? We've seen kind of Wolf everywhere. Tri-State seems to be very varied in a lot of characters they play. What have you seen overall in terms of in like Europe, whether from UK, whether from Sweden, whether from Germany? What are the kind of what you've seen in different regions?
Well, I know that UK has gone from Sonic region to Wolf region. We've got a good few number of Wolves here. I think there's a bit more in terms of diversity in terms of France, just because I think the more aggressive play style of that country lends itself to varied picks in this game.
Right.
I'm not quite sure in terms of other countries. I know there's throughout Europe there's quite a bit of character diversity in general. I know as well dotted across each country there's quite a few Pokemon trainer mains, most likely inspired by Leffen, of course, near the start. So a lot of people have been picking up that character as well. But yeah, honestly, as you mentioned before, just throughout various regions, there's going to be so much diversity. And that's going to be one of the really hard things about this game early on. You are going to get tripped up by somebody playing Pac-Man in bracket, by somebody playing Duck Hunt, by somebody playing Isabelle. Any of these characters, there are over 70 in this game. It's going to be so hard early on just getting that experience for all of these characters just because there's so many.
Yeah. No, it's insane, man. There's this like you said, there's so many characters, and again, D1 and I, we had the privilege on being on Ultra Chen's TV. They did a show just kind of talking about Genesis and RC. And I was telling them, man, the thing that I can't wait to see is the blow-ups, the cheap stuff. Everyone gets hit. They don't know why. They're like, I came out here and I went 0-2 in the bracket and I still don't know what happened to me. And that's the fun stuff, right? Obviously, it's not fun when you're in the receiving end of it. But you know what? Like looking back and being able to kind of analyze that, you're like, man. And then also to look at that stuff, and then years in the future, you look back at some of that stuff, like, wow, we really got hit by this. So it's funny because everyone's getting hit by everything, right?
Yeah.
And it's only in time we realize what actually was real, what wasn't, what was fake news, right? So it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be really cool.
Your opponent coming off of landing that nonsense, they should be like, GG, man. GG.
Yeah,
they actually felt really good about it too. They're trying their best. To maintain
hard fought.
Good games. And then they turn around. They
just pop off to their friends.
This guy's an idiot.
How did he know about this? Not know about this? Confirm. It's so obvious.
One thing I was really excited about is just the fact that a lot of people will be going into this holding a lot of tricks to their chest, right? When you come out to big events like this, you don't want to show your hand too quickly. Of course, there are a couple tricks that you have up your sleeve that you're going to want to like keep to yourself until it gets exposed to the masses. And once it does, be ready to find counterplay to that too, because that's like the adverse to it, right? Holding tech to yourself and not exposing it to everybody can be cool and all, but if you don't have somebody to test it with to see what are the potential counters and the counter to that, then if you get figured out, what are you going to do? How are you going to progress even further in the bracket?
But that's why you need the village, right?
Exactly.
That's why good players don't happen on their own, because you need people to try things on so that you can see how to then adapt.
Absolutely. But at the end of the day, there's people going to hold on to tech. You know the saying, man, save that ish till nationals, man. That's how it goes. That is something that has been since the dawn of time in the FGC, right? You hold on to that tech and you come out and whatever you need to do, whether it needs to be a Valle custom combo, whatever, dude, by any means necessary.
Excuse me.
Yes.
But one thing I wanted to mention too is once a major passes, you always see like a lot of people start emulating the styles of those people that got into the top 8 or may have won the tournament. The moment you go home and play quick play, it's inevitable. You're gonna see a lot of people playing that character that won. I remember the moment MKLeo won Smash Conference, Shofu immediately went online with Ike, and there were other Ike mains there naring with them. I was like,
they're just like,
you know what? It's time. I want to win.
What? I can win
with one button. I'm in.
Yeah, man, it's too funny. But I know we talked about it a little bit. We alluded to it, but let's go into a little bit deeper, man. Let's talk about kind of the tiers, talk about characters. Obviously, right now, any tier list that anyone has, for the most part, is just going to be invalid.
Yeah,
right?
subject to
there's
change.
There's just so many things going to be happening, and you're not even going to be known because, hey, even if you could have been right, patches happen, things are going to happen, right? But right now, we do have some early meta characters we're seeing right now a lot, right? Obviously, we've been seeing characters like Palutena, we've seen Chrom, we've seen Pichu, right? We're seeing Lucina, Fox, Wolf, as we were talking about before.
Peach.
Like, Peach,
Inkling.
of course, Inkling. These are the characters that we're really seeing. Like, how do you guys feel about those characters overall? Do you think a lot of them are going to stand the test of time? Do you think some of them right now are kind of just the trend? People were like kind of picking them up. Like, a lot of times people forget that they will look at characters and like, oh, look, they're doing all this stuff. They're doing all this tech. This character must be the best. But they don't realize there's a couple things. Accessibility. There's like when you have a community around it, which means that there's going to be more tech for that character at that point in time, which means that character is going to have probably stronger tactics, not necessarily stronger tools. So there's a lot of things there. So how do you guys feel about these characters? Is there any character you see right now that you feel like is not going to be so high once we kind of pass through this year?
So I feel like, Palutena, a character that I like a lot, definitely looks like a character who's looking more and more like her game plan is quite linear, right? Like
Yes.
as good as a character as she is, I feel like she's definitely going to start hovering around like high. To me, she looks like a mobile tank that has some pretty good aerial tools, really good zoning tools and whatnot, but she doesn't have the unpredictable toolkit like a character like Pichu or Fox, where they have a myriad of safe tools that they can just like pile onto their opponent with a lot of mix-up pressure, right? Again, still, of course, there'll be those great players who will find ways to turtle really well with that character, or, like Nairo, be aggressive. But then when you come up against a bad matchup where there's characters that may be small, fast, nimble, have great frame data, amazing burst range, great combo, amazing combo trees that allow them to either net a KO or just bring it back if they were losing in no time. Those kind of characters I feel like are the ones that are going to stick around more. So like the Fox, Wolf, seeing Pichu, Peach, Pikachu, those characters, even like Inkling, I feel like those characters can definitely still hang for even after time progresses, because they'll only get better. Whereas when you see like the characters that everybody's been saying, oh, heavies have been buffed. Heavies are definitely not the worst in the game, but at the same time, I feel like as more time progresses, we may see certain heavies fall off.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, usually in most games, heavies, grapplers, they usually tend to be the characters that are really strong early meta. And then time, again, they're linear, right? There's kind of like base game plan. I want to be close to you, and I'm going to hit you with one or two things, and you're going to die.
Yeah.
That's the game. But then you find out how to avoid things, right? And that's when things become problematic.
And of course, they look so strong in the beginning because it only takes 2 buttons in sequence to get that
Exactly.
much
Yeah.
reward. And
Right.
everyone else needs to string together like 8 buttons before they can match your damage.
Exactly.
And I totally forgot to even mention like a character like Peach, right? Where you see Peach could be behind, net that one opener with a nair, and all of a sudden you see like 0 to 50, and then the opponent's like, oh, well, I caught up already. Like, it's an even game. What's up? Things like that. That's really scary. And, of course, the sorties, too. The sorties are characters that we shouldn't even forget because they do a good job of just walling out these really fast characters. We've seen a great example of this with Light versus Nairo, which was absolutely impressive to watch at Glitch 6.
Yeah.
That set had me so stoked. I was like, this literally reminds me of like when I used to watch Melee, where we'd see, oh, Fox is like really good, blah, blah, blah. Fox might be like the best in the game uncontested. And you just see Lucina come through, get you off stage, edge guard. And I'm just like, oh my God, Nairo is amazing. This is the kind of stuff that I want to see where it's like, yeah, Fox is amazing, has a lot of great approach tools. Nair's so safe. You could literally land on someone with Nair and immediately buffer a retreating Nair to not get shield grabbed.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah.
But at the
Bearing
same
in
time,
mind that Nair also confirms into up smash, so
yep, into up smash at low percents, into F tilt, into dash attack, into another F
To
tilt,
imagination, into down
whatever
tilt,
you
into freaking instant raw bear.
But then
whatever you want, just dream.
It's so crazy. But then at the same time, like looking at the sorties, right? They can still do a good job of at least walling out these characters and edge guarding them too. So I'm so happy to see that. Yes, there are strong characters, but we're not gonna just sit here and go, "Oh my God, this is unbeatable!" Wah, nerf.
Yep.
No. Instead of crying to Sakurai, we're gonna adapt, and people have been doing that. And because of that, I think this game is very healthy, man, and it's gonna continue to be that way if all of us in the community just continue to help each other find ways
and build from there.
Yeah, to beat everything.
Absolutely. So one of the characters, speaking of sorties, man, one of the characters that comes to mind to me, I've always thought this in the beginning, Chrom. So Chrom is a character where obviously we've seen early meta, this character has been steamrolling a lot of people, right? we do know as well from the patch that happened, he definitely got a nerf as far as up B, so he's not going to be able to. He dies first. So in situations where he's at last stock, he can't be like, "Oh, I'm going to sham wow you and do this, whatever." But even before that, we started seeing people, for example, DeBuzz. DeBuzz got hit by up B, and he just there was literally very few times he ever died from that because he always DI'd it correctly. He knew it was in a combo, he always DI'd away. You look at other people who get hit by that up B by Chrom, a lot of times, because beauty of Ultimate, you can actually see where they are DIing. A lot of times you look at it, they're DIing in, or they're DIing straight up. A lot of times that happens. So it's very interesting because I've always felt that Roy was actually the superior out of the two. I think that Chrom is the more accessible out of the two. And I think especially now that, the nerf that we know that's there, I really feel like Roy's going to be the one eventually that's going to bypass him. He's got a lot of great stuff with dealing with even sour spot up airs at later percents for kills. He's got a lot of amazing things just even from his jab. Like his jab, if you use the instant RAR to bear, so you can make sure that you actually get that sweet spot on point, that thing kills obscenely early, especially at the edge. You can have some people oh, I jabbed you at the edge at 70, oh, you're dead. Certain characters just die. It's absolutely insane. So it's really interesting to see Chrom, a character that everyone's not oh, this is by far the best character in the game or whatever, but even a strong character like Ike, I also feel like Ike is really good, but I think in time, once people realize how to maneuver around Nair, especially pairing, which we've seen, a lot of people are getting better at pairing a lot better than I expected, a lot quicker than expected. Light parry master. We've seen a lot of these guys. They're dude, are you serious? Oh, you're gonna short hop? Done. Get that out of here.
Why are the Foxes of all players the ones that are good at parrying?
They want to hurt people. What do you mean? They want to hurt
like
people.
Pressing buttons fast.
They love pressing buttons.
And think about it too, right? They're the characters that don't really. They're not outfitted with as many disjoints as the sorties are, right? So because of this, they're going to have to find something to deal with some of the pressure that will try to keep them out from mounting their own. But what I wanted to mention is that there's this tech that a lot of people know about where you're able to, yes, shield with the shoulder buttons, but if you map shield to the Z button, you can immediately just make it easier for you to release shield and go for easier parries for those out there that are having a difficult time with the triggers.
Yeah, because they're spring loaded that way. You get immediate digital input.
Yep.
But I think that's the other interesting thing about a lot of Ultimate's design, too, is that a lot of these combo starters, these party moves that we're talking about, these are falling single-hit moves, right? So I think that's a very conscious decision by the design team, which is people are going to be fishing for these as they're falling on you.
Yes.
These are being set up to be easier to parry than the multi-hit moves.
Yeah, and obviously, of course, when you usually in Smash in general, you want to hit as low to the ground as possible with your move with the strongest hit of it as possible, to maximize your frame advantage, right? Or to mitigate your frame disadvantage. So, of course, again, that means you're going to have more time because they're not trying to do a rising aerial and do that. You're just going to hit them, right? So, again, like you said, it's very, very intentional that these moves are safe in that way because with the parry mechanic, they're not so. So, it's it's really interesting. I really feel like a lot of the sword characters are going to, once people get better and better at pairing, they're going to struggle with a lot of those. I still think they're going to be doing amazing. I think Lucina in particular is still going to be, really crazy because I think that character, her toolkit is really, really good for edge guarding, as we've seen. I think that people are just going to get better and better at that. So it's going to be interesting. But let's go into the sleeper characters, man. Who do you guys feel are sleeper characters for Ultimate right now? Obviously, there's so many characters we don't know, but there's certain characters I feel like right now people are just not talking about nearly enough, or they're kind of talking about it, they don't really get it.
I still feel like I even though this is an obvious answer, just to get it out of the way, I still feel like Wario is a character that not too many people are on the train, the train where they think that this character is actually a character that's capable of winning an entire tournament. It's more so the fact that it's a gluttony or a tweak that's, a great mind behind the character that's playing. That's why they probably think he can probably do it with his Wario. But I wanted to know what everybody else's take was on that.
Oh, I think Wario has a fantastic kit. Just anybody who has a similar combo mentality behind them can find it. Especially, we talked about earlier, he's basically obese Jigglypuff. So if you have on top of that a great spacing fundamentals in the air, I've seen players who didn't really play much Smash 4, but like they played lots of PM and like Melee and stuff. And then when they pick up Wario, it just looks like such a natural fit for them because that's the same mentality that they're used to applying from their home games.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. One of the characters that I see right now where I feel like is definitely like a kind of in the same vein as Wario. Like some people kind of see him as like, oh, this character's crazy. And some people are still like, oh, this character's kind of good, but they don't realize how good the character is. And, you know, I think people are slowly warming up to it, though, is Link. Link is a character where there's people initially when saw the character like, oh, this character seems pretty good. And then they're like, oh, you know, we'll see what happens. And then, like, we had people, like, some people would say it, but no one was really listening. But then MKLeo was like, yeah, I think this is, like, one of the best characters in the game. And everyone's like, what? Like, a lot of people collectively were like, no, this can't be. And then we started seeing the Link here. Then we started seeing Link here. Then we started seeing combos here.
Otokuni.
Yep. You know? And so that's another one of the characters where it's like, he's half awake. You know what I mean? Like, people kind of know, but don't really know yet, you know? But a character where I feel like is a really sleeper character is Ken. I actually think Ken.
Okay, that's
Ken is
a sleeper.
Yeah, he's a sleep. Yes, absolutely. I think right now the only thing holding characters like Ken back is really, again, it's a paradigm shift on how they play these characters, right? It's like people know what they want to do, but they're still kind of getting used to like how to do it. You know, some Kens are still having issues with doing like RAR bears, right? Some of them are having issues with now how the tilt stick works now in this game, where you can actually do the stronger tilts as well on there. And so sometimes people have a problem because they're so used to like utilizing that for the manual tilts, the manual light tilts, and then doing everything else with the like control stick, right? Or directional stick. So it's very interesting, but like we've seen the setups from the character. And, you know, even when I went to Valhalla, you know, I forget the Ken player's name, but even like just the shield pressure, the shield breaks that he has, like free shield breaks, like that character, the damage that character does, it's insane. It is like, it's not even like just those carries, not just the fact that his DP just straight at like literally just people just disintegrate to that thing, right? But it's like literally like off of like a hit, you can just go into like a lot of his kick specials and then go into a DP or go into a Tatsu which nets you a mix-up. And just doing those simple things is like 40%. Like just that, 40% that you have to hold. And then you get mixed up there and that could be another one. And so I think that character is going to definitely do some things, man. But other characters, guys, who do you guys see as the sleep characters?
One character that I think is being slept on at the moment. One seen as quite bad, but actually may not be like super good, but is often seen as quite bad is Bowser. I think Bowser's interesting because compared to the previous game, the thing you're looking out for all the time was that grab. You didn't want to get grabbed because then he does up throw, leads into combos from there. In this game, you don't want to get hit by anything. His entire kit just hurts. He comes down on you with a falling there. He combos out into it with an up tilt or an aerial. Suddenly that's 35. He jumps into you with a flame breath. If he hits you point blank, that's easy 40 plus. If he gets you, he can, you know, he scares you into shield, but then he also has a frame 6 command grab that he can also do in the air that kills at like 120.
Yeah.
And if he has a stock lead, he can suicide you with it. And there's a lot of strong components about that character. Of course, he's big, he's very heavy, he's easy to hit. But the character can move as well.
Yeah.
It's not like he has trouble with camping because he has a really great jump. He's got good air physics. He's got really fast ground speed. So he has the mobility and he has the power such that he just needs to win neutral a couple of times. He can keep getting hit. He has the durability to keep getting those hits. And he has the tools in neutral to just rack up absurd damage, get really early kills off of a good read here or there, and just... That character's scary.
Yeah, and one of the best get off me tools in the game, jab, is ineffective because tough guy.
Yes.
Yeah. Literally, I remember the first time I played a Bowser Online as Fox. I love spamming Fox's jab when I know I could connect it, right? Just to get that easy damage, get that pressure, push them into the corner, get more stage presence. I'm jabbing Bowser, and he's like, and I'm like, what's happening? Why are you hitting me? I'm supposed to be winning.
That's my jab now.
It's my jab. Matter of fact, it's my forward smash. You know,
Oh, jeez, dude. But yeah, Bowser definitely. And G-Pick, was there any question?
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up Game & Watch, of course.
Okay.
My old boy, Game & Watch.
Yeah.
A lot of the names we're bringing up are like, these characters have some really strong advantage states, but Game & Watch actually handles disadvantage way better than everybody else. Like, he's got that up B that's frame 2 out of shield that hits both sides of him. So, like, you can't even cross him up safely. If you tap his shield, he's out of there safely and then hitting you and starting his own combo. So he can actually shield and scramble situations and come out on top against a lot of other characters. And you combine that with the fact that his up B didn't get nerfed, unlike everybody else's, so he's really hard to edge guard. He's just a character that you have a hard time ever getting an advantage state on top of. He's able to always find a little squirrely way out of there, and it makes him a complete nightmare to deal with. And on top of that, then, your thought is, okay, well, just don't engage him heads up. But then he has bacon now that he can actually aim. It's a real projectile. He can get like 20% off of 5 bacon slices on you. He's got buckets to absorb your projectile or reflect it now. So you're kind of forced to engage him head-to-head, but his shield is so much better than yours.
Yeah. No, absolutely. That character is very, very, very solid, man. And just looking at this game, like, people are going to hold that because that's true. Like, a lot of times people are just looking at advantage, but they're not looking at disadvantage.
You know, I'm still interested in the fact that, you know, a lot of us, yes, we understand that Young Link is a good character, but I still have yet to see a lot of people on the big stage really try to, like, just own the masses with that character. Usually I see, like, I know Zan. Of course, he's like the sole Young Link main that I know who's just like absolutely amazing. But he's not going to be at Genesis 6, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But you know, looking at Tweak, he does have the character, but as a pocket character, right? Like a counter pick character.
Right.
Regardless, amazing zoning tools, great conversions too, so nimble,
crazy.
so small, and yet, you know, the moment he gets just one measly little opening, just like you said with Fox, imagination.
Yep.
And that's literally it. I was so amazed the first time I tried the character out, and I did just the down air, just to see what the landing lag was like. And I was like, okay, this is gonna be ridiculous, dude. Like, he has just so many amazing tools in neutral to use, you know, and just the combo ability that he has too. It makes me really scared knowing the fact that you could be up close to him and it's scary, or you could be afar as well, you know, and he could actually kill. With the fire arrow.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, those can outright kill, or it's literally like, oh, like, you're across stage, you got hit by one, you're like, oh, I'm okay. Oh, wait,
There's
what?
another one?
And you're just, there's another one? There's another one? Oh, up B. Oh, wait, I died? You know, that character is super, super crazy. And I think a lot, like you said, a lot of people have seen that stuff, but we really haven't seen it put into practice at the top level as much yet, besides Tweak, of course, and his skills at Glitch 6. But another character, Mega Man. Have you guys been watching Yeti?
Oh,
I've seen a lot of pull-up.
that character.
But Yeti has yet to lose a tournament in his
That character is... He's that character that the mains are keeping eerily quiet about.
Yes.
You know they're cooking up something crazy. I mean, we saw the Infinite that of course got patched out.
Yeah.
The one where he's able to cancel F tilt with the Metal Blade drop, so you can keep looping that over and over again. But the character still has such good mid-range control. He still has incredible projectiles. He still has that frame 4 killing back air. He still has ways to just control so many different zones, and he just looks really strong. And the forward air as well, that move now being able to actually kill, he could just dive off stage and throw it out. It's a big disjoint, and that's really hard to contest. So really, really versatile, flexible character in Mega Man.
Yep.
One thing I want to hear Virum's voice again, because there's actually another character that I wanted to touch on that is definitely a character that we know the character's good, but we don't hear too many people playing this character as well. Shulk. And I know you love Shulk. That's a character.
Okay.
So how do you feel? Because I feel like we've had a conversation about this a little bit, and it's kind of been how do you feel about Shulk right now?
Let's hear it.
So Shulk right now is kind of nuts because he's really strange because he's so extreme. He's got like in terms of his issues, his recovery is still not that good. His boxing options are not that good. His out of shield in general is not that good outside of air slash. But then he hits you once, and no character in the game really has an answer to the giant Monado. Like he hits you once, and you're just stuck in disadvantage because the Monado hits everywhere, and its range and disjoint are gigantic. Not to mention the Monado arts are like, they've cranked them up to 11.
Yeah.
Monado smash kills you ludicrously early. He hits you with a fair at the ledge at 50 and you just die. And you can't get around it particularly well. We see Nico oppressing people at the ledge throughout SoCal locals all the time. Monado's speed, just chaining hits. Monado busts the damage output. You hit someone 3 times and they're at 70. And that character is really, really strange. He could be potentially incredibly strong, but then it's like there's also that potential for him to fall off if just because he has those select few weaknesses.
Yeah. He's crazy, man.
The other thing that's nuts about him is you hit him, and if it's a multi-hit kill move, he flips the shield.
Yes,
part way through, and it's like, sorry, your boost kick didn't kill me.
Limit cross slash, boost kick,
and then he punishes. Like, it's crazy because Cloud, like, rules are meant to be broken. Shulk really took that to heart. He's like, all right, cool, I guess so. Like, let me just do whatever I want. Like, it's sealed. It's nuts. Yeah, it is. That character is very scary. I know. I'd been talking with Larry a lot about the character, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna play this character, see what happens. And he's been slapping up some people with that character. Obviously, the local, like, obviously Larry is very talented, but again, there's just a lot of insane things that character can do, and you have to hold. And then even the invincibility for the Monado arts, again, like, being able to utilize that.
1 to 14.
Yeah, 1 to 14. Let me do that, and, like, let me just do a forward smash and kill you at, like, 30. Like,
and that's not even mentioning the new tech that he has with the dial storage, where he's able to use that new Monado art dial and just immediately cancel his current Monado art or his current landing lag with a different one, and then just create insane combo situations off of that. He's got so many mid% kill confirms off of relatively safe hits if you're able to just set that up correctly.
Yeah, man. Man, that character is insane. I don't know.
It's stressful to fight him. Like, we're used to seeing, like, the Monado cycle through, right? So it's like, there are letters flashing above his head. He's gonna change, like, the song soon. But now it just happens. It's like, that was 20 frames ago. Now he's in Smash. Okay.
And you better be ready. You better figure it out, because if you didn't figure it out and he hits you, and then it's like you're not prepared, well, sorry. And then what are you going to do about that? What are you going to do about the Monado?
Here's one thing, Bam, I wanted to ask. I know you're a fan of playing a lot of characters when it comes to this particular game. The Smash games. But I have yet to hear you really talk about Sonic.
So, I actually do think Sonic is a sleeper as well. I think that Sonic is a lot better than people have been letting on. A lot of Sonic mains have dropped the character.
Yes, they have.
All the UK Sonics. That used to be one of the Sonic regions of the world, alongside, like, Georgia. Now none of them really play him.
They straight up chuck the deuces and figure it out.
Exactly. A lot of people are super upset with the fact that when you... I'm not going to dive too much into the different states of spin dash and spin charge, but basically when you do the spin charge, the one that's just like you start on the ground, you go into spin dash jump usually, and that's what you carry over, and then that's when you start to do your combo, right? That's a very staple Sonic thing. It works a little bit different in this game. And sometimes you have to get the multi-hits first before you go into spin dash jump. Otherwise, you won't carry the character up, and so you'll just go over them, and then you won't be able to continue your combo. A lot of Sonics hate that. They're really upset about the up air. Up air 1 does not combo into up air 2 very well at all. It is pretty hard unless it's on heavy characters. It looks like they just made the hitbox on up air 2 very small. And so a lot of them just feel like, okay, there's these certain things here he can't shield cancel. So you know what? Why am I going to play this character? But it's like this character used to have a slightly above average dash, initial dash, now has top 3 initial dash in the game, with, of course, by far the top run speed in the game. You have a character who has, in my opinion, Sonic's F tilt is one of the best tilts in the game. in my opinion. I think that poking tool is amazing. I really think that thing is incredible. I think there's no reason why. I think in combination with his movement speed. Okay?
I have no doubt with how much you use the move.
Yes, yes, you know, right? That move is
I played Bam Sonic as well.
It is crazy because it's such a good anti-air, and the thing is, it's such a great low-profile tool. So that's why it's amazing.
Yeah.
Because it's not just the fact that the damage it does, the angle it sets up for like tech chase situations, but it's really like this big foot, and he's like ducking away.
Yeah.
And it's very like, of course, just like his forward smash. Also his forward smash, one of the crazier moves in the game where it's like, oh, I'm going to literally step forward and blast you to Kingdom Come. And, you know, last but not least, dude, homing attack. Homing attack already was going to be a good move in this game because of the engine. That move in this game is actually asinine. It is
asinine
stupid.
indeed.
It is stupid, and I'm sorry. Every time I have to hit someone with it, but you know what? It is too good not to, like, it is ridiculous. You can combo from it when you do the reverse one. If you do, like, a regular one in general, the homing is exponentially better. And so you have a lot of situations where you can, if you hit someone with a B reverse homing attack off stage, that combos into a bear, they can just die. You can combo reverse homing attack at early percents into an up air, into another homing attack, or into an up air, into a double back air, etc. It's a combo starter, and it's like pretty crazy. And so all in all, the character is super fast. The character can edge guard. The character can still combo, albeit in very different ways. And the character forward smash is still really good. Back throw is still there. He still has combo throw. He still has a throw that sets up for tech chases. So all in all, I think the character is really good. I think right now it's again a paradigm shift in terms for a lot of Sonic mains. So I do think that Sonic mains are going to migrate back to that character eventually. But I think right now a lot of people are just not playing him. So that's how I feel about Sonic. I think Sonic is really good, and I think people are not giving that character credit.
I'm actually glad they made homing attack a decent move, considering, you know, you look at the modern Sonic games, and those games are, if you're not boosting, you're homing attack, spamming that move. It is one of his best moves.
Yeah.
So it being bad for over a decade until now was just like, that's a cool part of this character that's just not good. It's like Shulk's backslash not being good. Mm-hmm. In Xenoblade, that's his best move.
Yeah. No,
this
absolutely.
is true. This is true. You know, I'll say one thing, man. I'll be really surprised if I get to see any really good Falco mains going into this tournament.
Yeah.
The character is not outright bad. Yeah, they might have changed like the startup on his back air, but it's still a potent tool. He has amazing combos as well. True. You know, he could still come off of up throw. Right, it's still a reliable setup, and we've even seen like setups off of down throw as well, tech chases even. But yeah, like one thing I really like about the character is just his moves are it's not like it's a sword, but they do a good job of stopping people from coming into him. You know, think about his up tilt, right? You're fighting a Falco main. If he's standing still and you're jumping into him and he's slightly holding up on that stick, best believe he's going to be spamming that up tilt. And it links into like up air, into like nair, into forward air, like, and then all of a sudden there's a lot of damage already dished out on the table. And when you're off stage against Falco, you have to be careful because the character actually has, because of the fact that he has such a high double jump, he might as well just like go off stage, right? Like a decent enough double jump. I mean to say, where if you go off stage with him and you go with the forward air, you'll be able to already come back on stage and just like set up for another edge guard. That forward air is hard to deal with. His spike, of course, it's potent. It comes out faster now. So like it's so good to see that he just has so many good edge guarding tools. Still, laser comes out still pretty fast. Honestly, I played a Falco on quick play once, and I was just so impressed. I was like, you know what? You can actually still do work with this character. He's not as bad as one of my colleagues, Kitaro, tries to make it out to be.
I just feel like the way that you have to play Falco now is just not Keitaro style. Keitaro likes to roll and back throw. That is Keitaro. That's the way he loves to play his character. So it's different. It's definitely different. I think that even Larry said it too. He feels like Falco has a lot of good tools, but he like up tilt bear at kill percent, all those kind of things. But he wishes he could play kind of the raw Falco. He misses that kind of play style. I think everyone does, right?
Yeah, because you could do like the immediate high short hop laser with no lag upon landing. But I mean, no one's gonna really get hit by that because it's especially if they're a short character.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But overall, I think the character definitely has its place. There might be certain characters that you can possibly. There might be some characters that can possibly counterattack with them.
So let's go and let's speed run through this, guys. Of course, guys who are just joining us here, this is a pre-show. We are actually going to be starting up matches, I believe, in probably 15 minutes now. But we're just going through the last things, of course, talking about Genesis, talking about the Ultimate in particular, just seeing how this game is going to evolve, certain predictions that we have for it, etc. So let's go into the Ultimate storylines. So Ultimate storylines, of course, we have Melee versus Smash 4. We all know the years of research. We know about Liquid Salem, TSM Leffen, but also it's not just about these particular guys. Obviously, we all know the memes and all these kind of things, but it's kind of what they represent, these kind of ideas, right? We're going to Ultimate, and for the first time, honestly, in Smash's history, we're actually seeing, in terms of the actual standard games, we're actually seeing some cross-pollination happen. And it's very, very exciting to see that there's a lot of things that you have to take in terms of Melee, and you can look back at Melee and reference from, and it translates over into Ultimate. And of course, there's a ton of things that you can take from Smash 4, and it translates to Ultimate.
Yeah.
So it's really, really exciting. It's really cool. Seeing Leffen as a competitor, we already talked about it briefly before. How do you feel about Melee and everything? I know you kind of talked about it briefly before, but again, what are your thoughts about Melee competitors kind of coming into this game and really making a name for themselves?
I think one of my favorite things about this is, coming from a person who started in the scene as a Melee competitor for many years. There are a lot of things that Melee players, bring to the table when it comes to Smash 4, or Smash Ultimate rather. Smash Ultimate, if you played Smash 4 already and you understand that it's probably better to set up for more ledge traps, you'd probably be more inclined to want to just keep the opponent at the corner and keep on ledge trapping. Whereas, Melee players, the moment they see the opponent off stage, the first thought is, all right, let me go off stage, pursue my opponent, make sure they don't come back with an off stage edge guard, right? We've seen Leffen trying to basically inculcate that in all the other players that have been playing the game. Of course, this is not to say every single player that has played Smash 4 hasn't been edgeguarding. You look at Nairo, he's been that guy that always went off stage. We've even seen MKLeo, where there are matches where he's in a bubble, back airing with Meta Knight and landing the back air, So we've seen people that, of course, that have been getting off stage edge guards and stuff like that. But as far as Melee is concerned, a lot of Melee players, they're more inclined to want to use their movement. That's another thing in this game. You can't sit and shield too much. Your shield's going to get bodied, and you're potentially going to get shield broken or shield stabbed. So people that play Melee a lot, they're used to moving around and forcing whiffs and trying to see if they can catch their opponent on a whiff to initiate their combo starter, their Punisher at least, right? Along with the whole edge guarding thing. So it's cool to see that people are showcasing different styles of Ultimate. There's not one true way to play yet, as the game is still early, but it's really cool to see people from other Smash games that have their predispositions as to how they play Smash already and bring that to the table in Ultimate. And that's why a lot of people are happy to play Ultimate, because it feels like there's way more creativity now. You can actually play the game almost any way you like.
Right.
We have an amalgam of many different styles here, especially at Genesis 6.
Yeah, they all seem to be viable, man. It's pretty sick. So one of the players, obviously we were talking about Melee, but let's go on to Smash 4 side. In particular, talk about Tweak. GPIC and Verum, I want to hear from you guys about Tweak. Obviously, we have Tweak kind of seen to be the winner of this tournament. A lot of people really favor him, and right now he's looking like the best in the world.
Yep.
Obviously, congratulations to Tweak. He was able to pick up that TSM sponsorship as well, and he's always been talented. He ended off on a note where he was second in Smash 4, right? And he definitely wanted to be number one. And it looks like he took that to heart. And, man, is this guy playing. And I feel like his mentality is infinitely better, too. So what do you guys think about it?
Yeah, just Tweak throughout the span of Smash 4. We just saw this young man just evolve as a player and as a person. just seeing his later tournaments, his results became all that more consistent as he really found his footing with his characters. His mindset became so much more stable. There was way fewer instances where it felt like he was kind of crumbling. And now in Ultimate, we've seen him play and we've seen him express how he's felt. Like he went into Glitch and he said that he felt good throughout the entire tournament. He felt like he was playing well, and that to me is really, really promising for him. And just, we know that Tweak has this relentless work ethic. He's one of the few players that really grinds the game every day. He's part of the loft. He's constantly playing with players like Cosmos, players like Keitaro all the time, like 10 hours a day. And outside of Zero, I guess, during the Smash 4 days, particularly early on, there haven't been too many players that have this sort of relentless drive, this thirst to really be the best like Tweak is. And I think that's really what sets him apart from everybody else at the moment. He's just absolutely insane.
Honestly, that TSM signing to me felt like the writing on the wall as well, because like seeing Zero, his dominant play style, and then immediately getting picked up by that team. The moment that happened with Tweak, I was like, this almost feels like we're just seeing history, repeating itself again, especially with TSM at least.
Yeah.
And the other thing you mentioned is hunger, and it's not just in terms of the competitive drive, but just how much he enjoys playing Ultimate as a game. He keeps picking up new characters, and he keeps winning majors with new characters.
Yeah.
And the amount that's helping him, because now he's getting deeper and deeper pockets. When most people only have like 2 characters, Tweak now has like 5 that he's been able to pull out against the highest level of play. And then that's also giving him so much more perspective on looking at the game compared to everybody else. He understands the way a character like Chrom sees the game versus a character like Young Link versus Wario and Donkey Kong. Like, these are different mindsets they can tap on anytime during a set. And that's really powerful to have this early out of the gate.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree with G-Pick there. The fact that he is able to pick up so many different characters and being able to understand the game from many different characters' perspectives, that's a thing that Leffen just realized recently, which is why, he's like not trying to only solo main Pokemon trainers.
Yeah.
So, for all you guys out there that are listening, don't sit there stuck to one character. Feel free to at least dabble with others on your free time. You don't have to make them your main, but understand what all the other characters' tools are, at least, right?
Absolutely.
Sometimes playing them allows you to figure out faster how to beat them versus just listening to someone give you tips.
Yep, true. So, of course, we also have the new talent emerging. We have Sakurai as well. Some people think that he could win this as well. Of course, we have ZD, who is someone towards the latter end of Smash 4 was doing fairly well, and now it feels like he's just kind of stepped up in that space where he's rocking with the best, man. He is definitely rocking with the best. Had some stellar matches at Glitch, and I'm pretty sure this guy's just going to continue moving forward with the momentum.
It feels like MDVA as a whole is kind of restoring themselves back up, because like in Smash 4 throughout that the life of Smash 4, MDVA was often seen as one of the weaker regions throughout the US, but now like seeing Glitch and seeing the results from people like ZD, just I feel like they're really working hard to put themselves back on the map. I remember back in the PM days, they were like, MDVA was up there.
They were sick.
They were up there, but now in Ultimate it feels like they're kind of rising up from the ashes. Yeah,
absolutely. Of course, we have Mudace. Mudace has definitely been doing some things. Yeti, as we've already talked before, man, that Mega Man. And
Foe?
Yeah. Foe. You guys saw the Mega Man Infinite, right?
Yeah.
The new one? The Metal Blade one?
The Metal Blade one,
Yes. Yeah.
2.0 or?
Yeah, 2.0, baby.
Oh, just dropping
the
it.
2.0 one? No, I didn't see that one.
Just dropping it continuously behind you.
I wasn't, because he said new.
Yeah.
So I was like, wait, how new are we talking about? Like after the patch?
Oh, yeah.
Because that sounds
No,
fake.
there's something there. But yeah, let's talk about, you said Foe, right? And so, yeah, Battle of the Best, man. Foe hasn't lost a tournament, man.
Yes.
Hasn't lost a tournament. Yeti also hasn't lost a tournament. Gluttony also hasn't lost a tournament. Sakurai, he has lost a tournament, but he's definitely the best in Japan. And of course, Tweak, definitely best in US. And there's someone else. Who you?
I thought you said Sakurai is the best in Japan. So I was like, what?
Sakurai is the GOAT.
He can patch
course
it
he
so
is.
it's so.
Yeah.
Okay.
He can play with 2 controllers.
Yeah.
Back to you, Ben.
Yes. And then, of course, Void. Void has actually been very, very strong in SoCal. Very, very dominant in SoCal. So it's going to be crazy because, again, we're seeing a lot of players that are kind of coming together who have basically have been having their region by stranglehold. And, like, it's And this is kind of, again, going back to what you were talking about in the early Smash 4 days when we had Zero, and he was just like, no one can stop him. And remember, everyone saw that in SoCal, and they're like, it's SoCal. They're not that good. Whatever. He's going to come up. He's going to get mopped up, whatever. And, of course, we all know the story. He clapped back, right? So it's going to be interesting to see all these people come together, too, and see what really happens from that. But a lot of cool storylines, a lot of things intersecting, and I can't wait for that. But let's talk about one thing before we have our closing thoughts. Nintendo Open. So how do you guys feel about the Nintendo Open? Obviously, the North America Open 2019, and this is the first time we're having a circuit done by Nintendo happening for Smash, and it's obviously not the rule set that everyone is looking for, but the idea that Nintendo is trying to do tournament series for Smash, how do you guys feel about that?
It's the next baby step forward that we've been waiting for, right? Because back in the Brawl days, there was just nothing from Nintendo, right? But then in Smash 4, Nintendo started supporting events. They started sponsoring events and at least providing assistance in terms of broadcasting rights, those behind the scene details. But then now they're throwing events, right? Now they're finally putting them on. It's not quite the same way that we want, but every single one of these steps, also balance patches and now balance patch notes, right? It's not as fast as the community wants it, but the fact that Nintendo is willing to just have that courage to keep taking these little steps towards us is so reassuring as a community.
Yeah, and that's the gateway to our competitive play, mind you. So that's why this is so huge to me. Not necessarily because this is our destination for competitive play. One day I would love to see a Nintendo series in which that was our destination, right? But to know that we have something right now that people are going to see, that Joe 281 just walking around the street and be like, oh yeah, I heard there's kind of stuff they play. That's kind of cool. I beat Timmy down on the street, so maybe I should join this, and then all of a sudden they find out about all, the storylines and everything that comes with the competitive Smash that we all know and love. So that's the thing that's exciting for me, at least, that they're going to be bringing all those people. How do you feel about it, bro?
So yeah, there's obviously the big benefit of that. It'll work as a bridge in that sense, but it's also kind of strange the way that they're handling the rule set stuff. It's just it makes you feel kind of unsure as to who they're trying to appeal to. You could say that it's the casual players trying to get into the game, but in that sense, it's why not make the rule set kind of broader or wilder? But then it's clearly not quite the competitive players, because then there's I saw the stage list today and there was the Paper Mario stage on there, and I was like, okay, but it's a bit strange because I'm still, as I mentioned before, it's still a little bit perplexing as to who exactly they're trying to target this to. It's you almost think that maybe it would benefit from going having that mix where it's one part of it is all the way casual and the other side is all the way competitive, just to kind of show the extremes, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. How do you feel, D1?
I think one of the main things that kind of threw me off is the fact that there really isn't any alignment with all the rules when you look at the 4 different major regions that are having their own specific Nintendo league or event, right? There's a European one and the rule set's different from that, and it's actually better apparently. Leffen actually went over it on the stream and I was confused, wow, so you don't have to sit there and play a full 7-minute time match, things like that, right? And then you look at Japan and they have their own different rule set as well. So I'm just looking at it and I'm wondering, I guess these are maybe all standalone events, because at first I thought since everybody's having their own events that
come together,
that it's all going to eventually come together, potentially, but we'll see. They didn't give any word on that, so of course all we can do is wait. But I was going to say, as far as this is concerned, I do agree with all you guys saying that this looks like at least the potential gateway to getting people into the scene. Because here's one thing, Reggie already said that when it comes to the Smash Brothers community, Nintendo tries to take more of a hands-off approach so that it can keep its authenticity, because we already do a pretty good job on our own anyway. So if they were to come in, we would want them to only help us with elevating the event through their support, but not being so hands-on where they have to change each and every little thing, when it comes to how we run our events, of course. So we've seen a few signs of that already with some of the things that have happened in the past. But end of day, as far as this Open is concerned, if it draws more people to Smash and makes people want to seek out future Smash Brothers content, which would potentially make people run into the competitive scene, then I'm all for it, right? All I look for are more ways to get people into it. And if Nintendo's taking this approach, which may not necessarily be my favorite approach, I feel like, again, just like Virum said, the rule set is it's different, and we're just gonna have to deal with it. The best thing we can do is just not try to harp on it for being different. Instead, look at it as an opportunity to bring more people to Smash, and in hopes of our scene being bigger and better. And I do hope that we do also have a time where Nintendo decides to also have people who are from the community consult, like actually have them help with pre-planning of the events. Because look at an event like Genesis. We have record-breaking numbers here for an open bracket event. You might as well trust the Smash Brothers community. If we've been sustainable for this amount of time on our own, mind you, right? We've been here for such a long time on our own. You might as well trust us to be able to have something along with you under your banner, where they're obviously pumping a decent amount of funds into this too. You could tell, right? They have a graphic for this. They're having people I think it's going to be a big thing, seeing what they're trying to do with this. So they're probably allocating a lot of time and money into this. So I would hope that we get the same thing in the future with our events, especially the ones that we come out in droves for the community, like the premieres, right? The ones that you just can't miss, like the Genesises, the Smash Cons, right? Those kind of events, the ones that everybody just comes out to from around the world. I would like to see them do way more with their partnerships with regard to that. But as far as the Nintendo Open is concerned, I think it's cool. Rules not my cup of tea, but that's as long as it brings people to the scene. Final word is cool. I'm open to anything that can bring more people to the community.
Absolutely. So let's go in this really quick. Closing thoughts, because I think we're just about to get ready to actually have some matches up there. So closing thoughts, man. Who are you guys' picks to win it?
Tweak. The kid just knows too much about this game right now.
Yeah.
He's probably played hundreds of games with every other top contender's characters himself. He just understands it so well now.
Absolutely. D1?
You said picks, so I will pick two players. One, I would say, is Tweak. He's the obvious pick, but my sleeper pick, who I really want to see at least get to grand finals and then do war with Tweak, is Gluttony. I want to see Gluttony get up there.
The Warrior Ditto.
And the fact that he comes from a region where he constantly tells the people that he plays with, you guys need to be a little bit more reserved, hold back a bit. You guys press maybe way too many buttons, and this may not be the best practice for him because he already has counters for this kind of play style. So to see him come from a region where he's not too confident that the practice he's getting is the most beneficial to him elevating, in the ranks as a player, if he were to win after coming from France and playing a lot of people that are aggressive, that would make a big statement right there, and people would finally stop calling people from Europe penguins.
Yeah, absolutely. Vera?
All right. My brain wants to say Tweak, of course, but my heart wants to say Naira. Because Naira, of course, he's yet to win anything major yet, but he's always been placing incredibly high. He's always been top 4 in pretty much everything that he's entered. So we know that Naira is absolutely capable of winning.
Yeah.
And I would love to see him push it that next step, just get that W at Genesis, because that would be monumental for him.
Absolutely, man. That'd be incredible.
After what you said, I want to do a third one.
Anyways,
light so deep.
Light's a good one.
I would be
definitely
good timeline.
But you back to
But anyways, I'm not gonna give mine right now because finally, I think we're ready to go. I know some people have been in chat. They want to see some matches. I know, chat, you guys want to see some matches. So we're cutting these mics. We're going to go into a break. And then afterwards, we're going to return. And we're going to have Pre-GeneSix, man. Matches up for you guys. So don't go anywhere.